Hello, my name's Dennis, and this is the ninth in a series of videos on temperament and health. And in this video, we'll look at substance transformation. In the previous videos, the circular mandala form was used to describe the transformative actions of temperamental dynamics. This video will act as a kind of summary of many of the key points, so that the fundamental principles can be applied to such subjects as embryology, plant physiology, organ systems, and the production of remedies based on temperament. These future ideas are in line with many practices and principles of traditional medicine that focus on prevention of chronic disease processes rather than intervention in acute disease processes. The temperamental processes are dynamic in that they occur over time in rhythmic sequences that are non-invasive. The forward motion of the temperamental principles is illustrated well by the Chinese character wen. Wen means moving forward to accomplish something. The glyph in the center of the circle is an adaptation of the character wen, and it represents the dynamic of the temperaments within the mandala. So, in order to put this on a good footing, it's useful to understand the alchemical and temperamental principles of the mandala have to do with two polarities. First polarity is levity, things go up. Second polarity is gravity, things go down. And in the process of going up and down, there are transformations known as earth, water, air, and fire in the alchemical language. But earth, water, air, and fire have dynamics between them. And the dynamics are known as temperaments. So in order to give a picture of them, let's take the role of carbon. Carbon in the natural world is a very fundamental principle of organic systems. So we're going to put in the mandala C here, which represents carbon. Carbon in the alchemical or the temperamental mandala represents a state where things get fixed. In chemistry, carbon is a deep fixing agent for many, many compounds. It's kind of a spine that is used in chemistry to build molecules. And in the temperamental mandala, the place of carbon is represented by the temperamental quality of dryness. Dryness fixes things. And in the fixing of things to dryness, there is the production of carbon that an alchemist would say is an ash. So in that one pole, the carbon pole or the dry pole, we have a fixing principle that the ash is moving towards the quality of gravity. It's falling out of a levity state and moving into gravity. And within the ash, there are salts in the ash. So let's take salt here and we'll put salt. But the salt falls out of the ash when it comes in contact with water, when it comes in contact with moisture. So moist and dry, we can see, are polarities. And the fixing quality of the carbon is polar to the flowing quality of nitrogen. And those polarities of moist and dry give rise to many, many phenomena in the world as examples of things going into levity. Moisture in the clouds, it goes into levity, and moisture in the earth goes to gravity and pulls salts out of ash. So the chemical element that is connected with the gravity pole, or salt and ash linked to each other, is oxygen. And oxygen has the quality of combining things. It creates conditions out of a quality that in temperament is known as cold. Oxygen makes things heavier when it combines with them, when it oxidizes them and moves them into the gravity pole. But when ash goes into water, the salts that come out of the ash into the water are the basis for all kinds of combinations and the forming of things like acids. So the salts in water and moisture begin to exhibit the quality of acids, and acids then interact with things like nitrogen and proteins, and in other situations where they're not interacting with nitrogen, they create what are known as sugars. So starting with carbon in its fixed quality, the ash falls down into cold, into the realm of oxygen, and things begin to be combined. The salt pulls out of the ash in the context of moisture, and acids are formed. We could say acids that connect to nitrogen, those are amino acids that form the basis of the possibility of creating proteins. So the moist quality, pulling things from oxygen into salt and acid interactions, gives rise to proteins and sugars. And proteins and sugars have a levity quality because they create conditions of flowing that create what are known as peptides, amino acids, through the action of hydrogen. And when acids and oxygen and proteins and sugars and acids and salts come together in the forming of proteins and hydrogens, the agent that allows that to happen is hydrogen that is in the hot pole. Once hydrogen is acting on amino acids in the blood and peptides, there is a quality of energy. There is a quality that energy is needed in order for that action to happen, and that energy comes from the forming of oils in the levity pole. And the oils in the levity pole act as kind of reservoirs for heat, and the heat then is dispersed in the levity pole into further combinations that act as reservoirs. We call them oils, and if the oils come now down into the fixed pole and interact with a lot of carbon, we get fats, and then we're back in the realm of carbon and hydrogen, hydrocarbons, and here in the realm of proteins and sugars, we have carbohydrates. So we have hydrocarbons in the fat oil side and hydrocarbons and carbohydrates in the moist cold side. So this is a very short review of a lot of stuff that's gone before, and it's pointing to something that the alchemists called Ouroboros, or the snake biting its tail. And the snake biting its tail is the basis of many future videos that we're going to do having to do with embryologically significant reactions that can be traced in the temperamental pole, disease processes, organ processes, plant family activity, remedy making. The snake biting its tail is the basis for a lot of activity when we wish to make medicines. Thanks for watching.